everyone. So today I thought, since it's the full moon in Libra, and we just had the spring equinox, that I would come out here. Today's a really nice day. It is the 8th degree of Aries, so the sun just is still in the first decan of Aries, which gives us really strong Mars energy, Mars energy. And the moon being in Libra right now is the opposite in the astrological houses as Aries, and Libra's main planet is Venus. So we have this very masculine feminine balancing act that is occurring right now in the heavens, and right after the spring equinox, which is all about balance too. And so I thought it would be a good time to come on here and do a reading for all of the signs, for all of the elements anyways, and help us to see what we need to connect with or heal or work with during this time. This time is also this is the worm moon in the Native American tradition, because during this time all the worms begin to surface in preparation for planting in the springtime. So that's another element of this full moon that we can consider, is what are we bringing to the surface? What kind of elements do we need to bring to our surface level and our consciousness in order to plant the seeds for what we want to harvest in our life this year? It's also known as the crow moon, and in a couple of the traditions, the animals that we can connect with, the animal medicines that we can connect with during this time, are the fox and the falcon. And then in Celtic traditions, the tree spirit during this time that we would seek for wisdom would be the alder tree. And she is the tree that connects with the goddess and releasing. There's a few different things if you wanted to look up to connect with that particular earth spirit right now, along with the animals that we can work with during this time. The Native American tradition has this time as working with the falcon, and the Celtic tradition has this time of working with the fox. So whichever animal you feel connected to, or you feel might be wanting to give you a message, you can go to that spirit, that animal spirit, in meditation, and you can connect with their energies and see what kind of wisdom they have for you during this time. Okay, so today I'm going to be working with the Earth Magic deck to do readings for the different elements. So I'm just going to break them up by element. So fire, we'll start with fire since we are in Aries, and fire element is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius are the fire signs. So if your fire sign, or if you're one of those, you're a fire element, in this reading, this part of the reading will be for you. We typically have all of these elements somewhere in our chart, and so if you wanted to dig a little bit deeper on this, what you could do is, if you know how depending on how well you know your chart, you could look up your chart and find out where your fire elements are located, what houses they're located in, and that particular reading, the fire element of the reading would be, you could see how that would play out in those particular areas of your life. And you could do it the same with the other ones, the air element, the earth element, the air element, and the water element, and see whereabouts those play out. Because astrology is really, it's not so much about the one particular sign that we are, or even certain signs that we are, moon signs and ascendants and stuff like that, but it's really about the balance of our entire chart and which house this is occurring in, right? So for instance, like what I'll use myself as an example, is that this full moon is occurring in my 8th house, which happens to be, which is Aries. So you'll just look at your chart and see where you line up. They line up by your ascendant. So I'm a Virgo ascendant, which makes Aries my 8th house. And so this full moon will take place in that house, and you can look to see what that house rules, and that part of your life will be where you're gonna want to look for healing, healing work or manifestation work, whatever it is, however it is that's coming to you. That would be my Aries, right? And I would do that for the other signs. I have a big stellium in Sagittarius, so that would be another big one that the fire reading would be associated with. And then Leo is actually my 12th house. So those ones would be the ones affected by that particular reading, and so on and so forth through the elements. And what you'll find is when you look at your whole chart that way, and you look at all 4 of the elements and what the message is for all of those and how they balance out, you get a bigger detailed reading for where your a message for your whole chart, because really we're trying to balance our chart, right? That's what it'll let you know more of which element you might need. I don't have a whole lot of air element. My ascendant, not my ascendant, I'm sorry, my midheaven is Gemini, and that's about the only air element that I have in my chart. I don't have a lot going on in any of the other air element houses. So anyways, so I might need to balance more air energy that way, and which is interesting because I really love the wind, and I connect a lot with air element through the wind that way. And so it's funny because Gaia typically gives us that which we need most, right? Which we're lacking most. Okay, so I've been shuffling, and we're gonna look for the fire element right now. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Please give us the message that we need most for the fire element today in connection with Luna during this full moon. Okay, so the card that came up for the fire elements is fairies, earth magic. This card in particular, we're going into the season coming up because we're between the equinox and Beltane right now, and we're going into the season of the fairies, right? One of the first ones, I kind of feel fairy energy start to awaken in the springtime like that, when the gnomes and those different elementals come up. This one is particularly about earth magic. It's connecting back with that feeling of that vibrant feeling of the earth coming alive again, and the fairy energy being present once again. So fire, in the Fae, the fire elemental is salamanders and also dragons. So if that's something that you feel connected with, especially during this season, to bring dragon energy in and fire elemental energy in, work with your fairies when you're connecting with them. But earth magic has a lot to do with things beyond the fairies as well. I shouldn't say beyond the fairies, but in addition to working with fairies and elemental fae that way. It's about really syncing ourselves with the cycles of the earth and the cycles of the moon and the cycles of the stars and how the earth is moving around the sun and these kinds of things. And this is something that we've really lacked in society. Everything that modern society does is on its own schedule, its own timeline, it's very disconnected from anything in the natural world. And the fire energy right now is really calling for you to reconnect with that earth magic that's deep within you. That part of yourself that knows that it's connected to a world in the dream space that's much more vast than what society shows us and limits us down to in this physical world, right? And so to get your fire going in this time, to get that energy moving in your firehouses, basically, you want to connect back with the passion, being passionate and really connected with the earth energy. So working with those animal spirits. And the thing with the animal spirits, and this could just be me, I don't know, but it always seemed really intimidating for me before, like you had to wait until particular animal spirits came to you in order to work with them. And along my journey, I've realized that actually you can seek out, you can go to particular animals for their medicine. You don't have to wait for one to like give you a sign and that it wants to work with you. I mean, animal messengers come all the time, but you don't have to wait for an animal messenger in order to start working with animal spirits. And so again, a good starting place if you don't know right now or where to go or what to do is consider the fox or the falcon. And the same with the tree spirits. Like, this is sanctuary tree. I come here to do my rituals. This is the grandmother tree in my on my property, on where I live. This tree is the anchoring spirit for the whole property here. And so I come here, and when I'm doing my journeys, this tree is where I go. It's like, because it's the anchoring tree up into the upper worlds or down into the lower worlds through the roots and the branches of this particular tree. So that's why I came out here today to do this. This reading is to connect with nature again. And so earth magic is, as well as the elemental beings, the spirit beings, what we're working with here, whether they're plant beings or the tree spirits or the animal spirits. So if you're a fire sign, and then in particular, or well, in addition to the fire signs, look to see, even if you're not a fire sign, where the fire signs are located in your chart, and see how that message of connecting back with the natural rhythms and cycles of the world, connecting with the spiritual elements. The fairies represent the part of the natural world that we don't see. Like, you see a tree and you see animals, but behind those are a spirit that's vaster and more eternal than just what's physically manifested present in front of you. And the fairies represent spirits of the elements that are vast, and a lot of us even come from those particular realms of the earth angels, right? Elemental realms. So that might be something else that's calling out for you. Maybe you have dragon, a spirit, as part of your soul right now. So, okay, that's for the fire element. Let's go to earth element. So the earth element is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. We'll see what the message is. This is really interesting. So the earth element message is volcano, volatility. I get this message when I was shuffling right now. Particularly, it's interesting that this one came up because it's like there's a switch, and I believe that it has to do with this balance, right? So Luna right now is in Libra. We're in between the spring equinox and Beltane, closer to the equinox that just happened last weekend. And this time right now is all about balance. And what you saw with with fire element is that it was calling in earth energy, and what you see with earth elements is calling in more of that fire energy, right? So it's calling to the fire signs, the ones who feel that fire and rush and everything, to really get grounded in earth energy, to focus your energies and bring a balance to the element that you are more dominant in that way, or in your signs, in your particular houses that fire energy is in. How can you bring more grounding energy into those particular areas of your life? And the same goes for the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. You're called to see how you can build more passion, right? Build up more fire energy and not be so grounded. When we're too grounded as earth energies, I have a lot of earth energy. I'm a Pisces, but I have a Virgo rising and a Capricorn moon. So I have a lot of earth energy that kind of weighs me down there. I also have Taurus North Node. So I have a lot of elements in there that are particularly heavy with earth energy. And so bringing back more of the fire energy is something that is needed to kick up so that we don't feel so stuck and so rooted in one place, right? It's good to have that balance, but when you're over on one of them, fire can get too volatile, earth can get too rooted too rooted where the energy won't flow as easy. You won't get the inspiration that you need to get, or that motivation, that spark of fire to drive you forward. So that's what this energy is calling for. So look to see where you have earth energy in your chart, and if you are an earth element as one of your main. This one is really talking about bringing together that passion and that drive, and allowing Luna to teach you right now about this balance. And these are intentional practices. There's something that you set your intention to do. So in any way, connect with those particular elements. So again, dragons would be something, or salamanders, if that's more traditional that you're wanting to connect with. That would be a connection to that fire energy. It's also, the interesting thing about this card in particular is that a volcano is also part of earth energy, right? It's part of the earth. It's not just a wildfire that happens to take place in a forest or something. It's actually coming deep from within earth that passion erupts, and that volatile nature comes up and comes forward. And that's what Gaia is really calling for the earth dominant energies to have happen right now. How can you have a surge of vitality through and passion and motivation in the particular areas that fire is really dominant for you? That earth that earth is really dominant, and you're going to bring fire element energies into that earth energy. It's getting all mixed up now because they're the same. I mean, they're very similar, right? They're calling fire to bring in more grounding earth energy and not be so chaotic. Be very be a lot more, because once you have a lot of this energy, it tends to get expelled really fast. Like you get really fired up about something, but you don't necessarily have the lasting strength to continue to see it out to manifestation. And Gaia is saying, bring in more grounding energy. You can get the inspiration, but bring it into the real. One of the best ways to bring something from more of the ethereal, like fire and air energies, into more of the real physical, like earth energy realms, is to write it down. So when you journal and have these motivative things come through, this inspiration that you feel, and you get these ideas like that, bring them first ground them into the earth energy by writing them down, whether it's a journal or just a piece of paper. That's one of the best ways, so that it doesn't like a quick fuse just pass out, and you're not able to hold on to it and really manifest the things that you want. Because it gets rather overwhelming to feel very inspired all the time and not see any of those things actually manifest. Meanwhile, right, earth energies, it gets really depressing to never feel like your life is moving in a particular direction, or to feel very slow, like you're dragging around extra heavy weight in your energy field that you just cannot move. So tapping into and connecting with earth energy in that way, and in particular for the earth elementals, connecting with volcano energy that is already part of earth energy that way, like it's already part of Gaia, that you can dig deep and bring the passion up above. You can act as the anchoring, like do a visualization or meditation where you act as the anchoring volcano itself, right? And you're rooted into the ground as you're very well used to being, and draw deeply from the inner earth that way, and pull up some of that more fire energy from earth. That's the way I'm seeing it, as opposed to like connecting with the sun, or see what I'm saying? It's a way to make it more of a lasting change for earth elementals. Okay, let's move on now. Air. Let's see where we're going with air. So air is Gemini, Libra, which the Libra moon is in. So this is another highlighting there, right? The moon is in Libra. And Aquarius energy. Okay. So for Libra, for air elementals right now, and any house that you have your air energy in, the card that has come up is autumn equinox and release. So this could be really relevant for those in the southern hemisphere who are in the process right now of just passing through the autumn equinox. This point of release, any of the times that we come, the things that cause us to be out of balance, that's what it is that we're being called to release in those energies right now. It's sort of like in the air, the idea of the air element. It's like when you're in a balloon, a hot air balloon, and you need to be able to go higher, you have to cut and release the extra weight that's holding you down. So this is really imperative for the full moon anyways. It's a good time to release. This moon is about creating balance in your life, particularly the divine feminine and the divine masculine, connecting to Mars energy and Venus energy, and where they can teach you how to embody those divine elements in yourself, and releasing particularly the thought forms and blocks you have about what it is to be divine masculine, what it is to be divine feminine, because sometimes what we hold on to is not really a healthy idea of what those things should be. And in order to move forward, we need to learn through the cycles of Gaia when it's time to release the energies in order for new things to come later, right? So you're being asked to purge this energy out in order for new growth to come. And so I would look into the houses that your air signs are in, and look at what you're holding on to in relationship to those particular houses, and see, for instance, my Libra is in my second house of partnerships, right? And so I think it's not partnerships. I have a hard time remembering what particular the houses are for, like in detail. I just remember them talking about, possessions. It was Taurus originally. Possessions and abundance and things like that. And so in that aspect, what am I holding on to that is throwing me out of balance in the idea of maybe I have too much stuff, right? And I have to purge that stuff. And it's time to release clutter. It's time to release the old things that are no longer serving anymore. It's time to release old ideas about abundance, right? About how we have abundance or prosperity in our life, how we experience that. It's time to release my Libra is my second house is in Libra, and this full moon is in Libra. So how am I releasing the ideas that I maybe need to do everything myself, because Libra is about partnerships? Or how am I depending too much on my partner and I need to rebalance that, right? Those are just kind of ideas about how you can correlate that to the houses that your air signs are in particular. So release. That's a good one for the air signs right now. Okay. Finally, the water signs. We have so many robins around here right now, and I love robins. Robins have always been really special to me. I just love robins. There's one on the bird pile over there just squawking. Okay. Water signs. Water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Water signs, waterfall, effortless. So what I'm getting the most here is that your water signs and the houses that your water element is in are fighting against the current. How are you not recognizing particular signs that will make what you're trying to manifest in your life effortless, right? It's the fish trying to swim upstream. It's the current, not going with the current and trying to maybe cross something and the current is too strong. If you are not going with the current, you will find that the undertow takes you, right? And you'll feel like you're drowning in your life. So where in particular are you? It might be something where you're fighting what is with a story, right? We have this tendency to think that things should or shouldn't be the way that they are, or that it's not happening the way that we like it to happen. Maybe been trying to manifest things this year, and it's not necessarily happening or playing out the way that you want it to. And it's possible that Gaia is guiding you in another direction, something that you're not even realizing that you were asking for, that you're calling for, and you're fighting against the current in that. And this in particular, right, the houses that these are located in, and how that energy, how you're fighting things in that particular area of your life. And those, you know, the houses, in those particular houses that govern those areas of your life. I'm a Pisces. I have a stellium in Pisces in my 7th house, and its relationships. So, for instance, the idea that maybe I have this idea of where my relationship should be going or how it should play out, and when it's not lining up with exactly the way that I think that it should go, I fight the current on that, right? I'm not able to just let it go. When you can let it go or release, it's very similar energy embodied as release. Like the air signs are being asked to release like the autumn leaves, and the water signs are being asked to release like the waterfall, right? Like the current of the energy. So allow Gaia to show you where you're going. This full moon is really, all the planets are direct right now. And we're going through a time where we can really capitalize on healing the trauma that we've been through in the last year for 2020. A lot of things have come up because when we go through trauma, it kind of brings up maybe blockages and beliefs that we've been holding on to, or things that we've created this last year, right? The beliefs that we've created over what's been happening, and or the people in our lives, or careers, or whatever the case may be. And this particular full moon is one where we're seeking balance in coming back to homeostasis that way, right? You need to release and let go and allow the energies of Earth, the Earth energies and the cosmic energies, to flow through you and to remove the stuff that isn't necessary anymore. So there's a lot of ceremonies for that on YouTube that you could look up for free and do like a guided meditation for something like that. In my group, I will be doing a drumming ceremony, and I'll post the link below for my group, to do a drumming ceremony to release a lot of this stuff for healing. There's a few people in my personal life that I'm going to be doing healing work for. So if that's something that you're interested in and going along with, it'll probably be inside. But I'll be doing that drumming ceremony, and you can connect with that energy and go through that, go into a meditative state or the dream space during that time, and allow the drum and the energies of Luna and of Venus and of Mars and of Sol and of Gaia to move through you, and the elementals that you feel the most called to during this reading, you can call on those as well, to go through that. So anyways, all right, we're already at a half hour, and that usually takes a long time to upload, so I'm gonna go. I'm going to go, and I have the amazing and most abundant full moon blessings to all of you. Thank you for joining me for this reading. If you've made it this far, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please subscribe and share this out in any of the groups or any of your social media that you think would be the most beneficial. And let me know in the comments below what your sign is and which element you felt the most connected to. It might not have, the elemental message that you felt the most connected to, it might not have been your like primary element, but it might have been one of the other ones that's highlighting from one of your houses. So anyways, you guys have wonderful full moon blessings, and I will talk to you later. Bye.